Well, -7 will do that to your water barrel. And we had just taken the ice off that yesterday. How are you? This is Martin from Gardens for Life. So we are now in mid-December in this video, and the garden has been completely frozen for the last week. We had minus temperatures of down to -8. Well, it's still great to have a reset. Not a great reset, but a reset biologically in the garden once a year. In our cold temperate climates, it's definitely an advantage that we have here. And because it kind of resets the garden and kind of creates a blank slate, so to speak, don't forget you can support the work we do by becoming a member of Gardens for Life. Take a look at our online shop for more details. Members get all kinds of benefits like 25% off everything we do, including tubers and cuttings and workshops and even our online course, which are all available on our website. We'd highly appreciate your support. Thanks. And what you see here in the background on the ground, actually, all the ice, that's not snow, that's actually ice. All of the trees were covered by ice crystals a couple of days ago too. Unfortunately today those have all melted away, and I didn't bring the camera a couple of days ago, but still you get the idea. So we're going to take a look at the garden, and we are going to have a look and see how deep the frost really goes in our no-dig garden beds. Where should we go? Let's go over here. It's one of the new garden beds. It's actually handy because you don't get wet feet because the water is actually frozen. But as I heard from the owl forecast, on Sunday the rain is back and plus 10 degrees Celsius. Let's see here. So if I just brush away the ice here and I try to push down on that, you can see here, basically this is how thick the ice is. So maybe 5 centimeters, and below that it's actually not frozen. So below that you can see it's just compost. So that's a good thing, because our tubers are mostly probably 10 to 20 centimeters below the ground, and we have been experiencing prolonged periods of minus temperatures. Here's the robin now. The robin is always following me, checking where was I digging. I'm so sorry, Robin, I forgot to bring some oats for you. I'll bring some later on. We do feed the birds in this time of need for feed, because the ground is frozen and the birds, especially the songbirds, just can't find any food or water for that matter. If you want to help them, put out some warm water during the day and some organic oats. That's what we put out for them anyway. You can see here, these are yacon plants. They're completely frozen, but I did cover all of the crowns with compost, hopefully sufficiently so that they didn't actually freeze. We shall see once we dig them up next week. And as I said, once you cover them with enough compost, even a week of frost shouldn't do any harm. And even if they were frozen, they will be okay once defrosted slowly and not by contact with direct sunlight, because that bursts the cell walls. Same as fruit blossoms, for example on apple trees in spring. Take a look at the amount of ice here. This is a current. Look how much ice there is here. Just on these few leaves, look. Wow. Last winter we had just half a day of a little bit of snow. As you can see, our older compost piles have definitely got no heat coming off them because the ice is staying on. But let's take a look. Look at this. Everything is frozen. I couldn't even really dig up anything, any tubers this week. Mainly just comfrey and horseradish is all I was digging up, and cutting the willows and the hybrid poplars. We had some compost coming in actually. The fella from the local mushroom farm said he has a heap of compost there, so we got a few loads. Look at that, and the frost actually doesn't affect these piles. In fact, these are actually still steaming because they're fairly fresh. So we're going to use all this compost, 5 big compost piles, maybe even 6, and we're going to extend our wall garden. That's the wall garden here, and we're going to extend it right down to here. So we're going to have a lot more planting space. As you can see, we have our plastic put down here. We had plastic here, the same plastic. We had it put down for about 6 months, but then we took it off, and 2 months later the grass was back and the ferns. So we might just use cardboard for this bit, but the main thing is to just stop the grasses from going to seed, really. Take a look here, all full of ice here. As you can see that, the grass is all dry underneath and gone brown. Even the plants in pots are completely frozen up. Have a look at this. I can't wait for the old southwesterly winds to return. The old tropical storm is coming in. A big hurricane-like storm is actually coming into the vicinity of Ireland by Sunday evening, and we're going to get a nice bit of warm air from that, plus 10 degrees. Honestly, I can't wait because I'm having to change the water for all of our animals, our chickens and rabbits and quails. Every day I have to give them warm water because the water actually freezes overnight. And it's all extra chores, really. Look at the amount of ice on the inside of the greenhouse. And the sun has been kind of melting it just a bit during the day today. Almost like snow, but it's not quite snow. I'd say it's mostly ice, although it did snow just a tiny bit a few minutes ago. It's supposed to snow a lot more now this afternoon, so I better get on with it. Well, this is the next day and it just started snowing. Let's see how much snow we're gonna get. Let's take a look at the clouds. Doesn't look like a massive amount. Oh Jesus, there's a big blue cloud coming way over there. Let's see, we better collect some bits in the garden, so get that done. I'd say we'll get this garden done in March, give these compost piles 3 months to break down anyway. Some of the compost is a little older already, but a lot of this stuff is pure fresh. Look at the crystals that the ice formed. It's kind of a different colour there. They look a bit like flowers. Nature is always very creative. So yeah, we'll get this garden done in spring. That'll be our spring project. Open the season. Thinking about getting this other garden done here too. The trouble is that we need to smother more grasses, and we need to get more compost on this side too. So this garden here beside our greenhouse, I often refer to it as the tuber jungle, because it literally does turn into a jungle in the summer, because there's like sunflowers 3.5 meters tall and even yacon plants over 2.5 meters tall, and it is impassable during the summer. However, now you can see it's definitely ready to harvest, because things have definitely gone dormant with that 1 week of -6, 7, 8 degrees Celsius. And here's where we're going to expand this garden. We're going to get rid of more of this grass here. We already put down plastic on the top there. That was actually part of the no-dig online course, one of the video lessons. And this grass in the middle here, we might just smother some of it with cardboard and some of it with plastic. So let's see how we're going to do it. There's some nettles here. We don't actually mind nettles, but we don't want too many of them because they spread very quickly, both by rhizome and by seed. We do have a lot of nettles on the edge of our garden. Every garden we plant, we always have some nettles somewhere on the edge. A nice big patch of it in case we want to use them for medicinal purposes or just for food. And they're also great for the insects as well. So the aim is to smother all of this grass now before midsummer. Let's say maybe even June, the beginning of summer. And get all the grasses smothered here, and then get more compost in the meantime when the truck is able to drive in here again. When it gets dry after the winter, or after the spring I should say. Hopefully we'll have a dry late spring. That means we'd be able to come in here with a rigid lorry or a truck with compost. This is basically a lasagna garden where we put down layers of cardboard, just a layer of cardboard, a layer of compost, and then a good thick layer of wood chips. And that was about 3.5 years ago now. A 6-inch layer of compost and a 6-inch layer of wood chips went down, and it's done really well. And there was barely any weeds in it, or foreign plants that I didn't plant, non-cultivated ones that is. And you can see, I mean, the leaves of the willows here are actually kind of covering the ground now. But it's quite a large area. It's about 600 square meters, or 1/8 of an acre. Take a look at the corkscrew willow. I really like that willow, especially in the summertime. It's so pretty. And we have currants in the understory. And I wanted to show you, we have some raspberries over here and some aronia berries. They're getting big now, these ones. And they were producing berries this year too, but unfortunately the birds actually found them, of course, and they gave them a go. Probably the first time they've ever had aronia berries around here. And they left none for us, which means they must be good. So this is an American elder, and this is the Florida elder actually. And look at it, even though it comes from a very warm place, and it's so lush. And this is after a week of extremely cold temperatures for our circumstances here. By the way, those are not flowers. I know you're thinking that's elderflowers, but that's just ice. It looks a bit like it. But there's actually still berries on these. Look at these. There's actually elderberries still here. And look how lush it is. I couldn't believe that the leaves are still on, even though this is midwinter now. This is mid-December, and we just had a 1 week spell of down to -8 degrees Celsius, and it still hasn't gone dormant, which is quite bizarre. And the leaves seem to be in good condition too. So, well, sometimes plants from warmer places seem to be more cold hardy. I've never seen anything like it. So 3 years ago I made a little experiment, and I stuck a cutting in the ground, maybe a foot long, something like this one, and look at the amount of growth that has come out of it. This is a willow tree, and this is the hybrid willow, and you can still see the original cutting here. There it is, and you can see it here, and all the branches come out of the leaf nodes. So when you're cutting it back, just make sure you don't cut it back completely down to the bud, like as in right here. Always leave a little bit to make sure that you have some new leaf buds that are going to be growing new branches next year or next season. This is a leaf node. This is the front garden. You can see there's some sea buckthorn trees or plants that are actually grown from root suckers from this. This is the parent. It's a male sea buckthorn, and a nice one. We got some extra trees. That's one way to propagate plants. Just let them do what they want to do, and just give them the space to do it. Like these raspberries, and they simply spread. I planted some raspberries over there about 3 years ago now, and you can see now I've got loads of them now. There's a few here too. If you find that invasive, well, I would just let them grow for the season, and then simply dig them up on the path and maybe near the path, and then use those elsewhere. Plant them elsewhere, or pot them up and give them to somebody that you know that is into gardening, or maybe someone that you want to introduce to gardening, and just get them to plant a few raspberries in their garden. So it's one way to propagate plants, is just let them do what they want to do. There's some more raspberries. It's a really good variety too. It's actually our own birdland variety. Yes, I wanted to document the front garden real quick. Definitely winter now. Curly willow. This is our birdland variety of white lilac. This is a evergreen tree, and sometimes it changes leaves, but generally speaking it keeps the leaves during the winter, and it produces a copious amount of lovely white lilac flowers in the spring, and insects are attracted from all over the area to join the party. Look at this. This is a flowering currant. Again, the path is getting a little narrow here, so we're just going to cut those back a little bit and then use the cuttings elsewhere. Look at all these ice crystals. Looking back, it took 2 workshops. Oh, there's the robin. Hello, robin. The food is near the greenhouse entrance. He keeps following me, thinking I'm going to dig. Well, this front garden was entirely filled with brambles back only about a couple of years ago. And last year we had 2 workshops to cover it all with wood chips. We had spread compost already on it. and we planted it all up, and that only took basically 4 hours on 2 different days to do all of this. This garden here, and this is the other half. So this is 1.5 growing seasons into it now, and it's super productive. We can get cuttings from it now, we can get rhizomes, lots of mint and berries and all sorts of herbs here too. Thyme, oregano, rosemary, and our shelter belt. These are the willows. We have willow cuttings for sale on our website, so please do feel free to take a look. These willows are now 3 years old, and these are about 3.5. But we have been cutting them all back rigorously every winter, just in order to take the cuttings off them, and so that they bush out more and block the wind. Well, I was just thinking, I don't really need to be out here in the cold, but I do enjoy it. I'm only going to pick up a few bits here now. I'm not going to dig up any tubers because the ground is still frozen. I can get that done in a day or two when the rain comes. And I'm just going to take a few more willow cuttings now, and we'll get to work at home. Might as well get a bit more office work done and wait for this cold spell to finish. Before you go, we're going to take a quick look at our other garden, our newest no-dig addition, and I'll show you how icy it really is. Even the paths are completely frozen. In the last couple of days we've seen temperatures of -7 degrees here in the Midlands of Ireland, and that definitely will make sure that everything is going to be dormant. Check out the ice crystals everywhere on the kale here. But kale is hardy. Kale will be okay once the frost is gone again. Any of our tubers like the oca and mashu are definitely going to be dormant now anyway after this frost, and we'll be digging up what we can once the ground defrosts. But you can see the leafy greens, they're doing okay. The kale is fine, as you can see here, but the celery has dropped to the ground. Take a look at the celery here. That was actually upright right up to here just a few days ago. Most of the tubers below the ground will not have frozen anyway, because the ground usually protects from the frost. Just a layer of compost will do. Although if the frost is sustained for a few days at -5 at night or -7 even, well then it's going to be most likely freezing your tubers in the ground too. But if they don't defrost quickly, as in if the sun doesn't shine on them, they'll be okay once they're defrosted slowly. You can see exactly where the sun has been shining and where it hasn't. The chard here, this is the rainbow chard. It's definitely looking a bit flat. The frost fucking did a good job at flattening it. Again, look at these crystals here, huh? We're being promised another week of this weather, and then it's going to be raining again, because the southwesterly tropical winds are coming back. Look at our elephant garlic. Again, this is our homestead garden, and it's mainly vegetables and some perennial onions and things like that as well. There's a few plants in here too, berries and a few alliums, of course, especially garlic. Oops, well, we forgot these pumpkins out here, and sure enough, if these actually defrost, or when these defrost, actually they will probably turn to mush. So that's a shame about those now. I forgot those here. It's okay though, the birds will eat them. What do you think about all the ice? You don't mind. Take a look at the greenhouse in here now. It's been minus 1 or 2 degrees in here, maybe even lower, for quite a while now. Look at this. On the inside of the greenhouse there's... Look at all the ice here on the inside of the greenhouse. Look. I have a feeling once the temperatures go up again, that's gonna thaw. And then everything in the greenhouse is going to get wet, which means I better remove all these cardboard boxes from here. And even the seeds too, the great mullen. I try to make an attempt at heating the place a little bit while I'm here packing, especially in the evening time. I'd be out here sometimes until midnight packing orders. And this makes a bit of a difference, but the trouble is, of course, that in turn melts the ice that's on the underneath of the plastic, and that doesn't really help because it drips down then. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video, and please give us a thumbs up if you don't mind. We'd highly appreciate that. And if you're looking for any tubers or workshops or an online no-dig course, we have those available on our website. Just take a look, and we'd highly appreciate your support. Thanks a million. Bye bye.